Hello everybody, Flaretale here, welcoming you to something that I'm deciding to do since I'm a little bored here right now. It will be a while before I can upload any Let's Co-op Mega Man Battle Network with Power Flare, because our schedules are pretty busy, so I do not know when episode 3 is going to come out, but I promise I'm hoping that it will be soon. Anyway, to keep you guys entertained for now, I'm deciding to do something a little different. It's currently 12:04 a.m. I'm staying up till 5 o'clock, and this time to keep myself busy, I'm deciding to listen to a creepypasta. And yes, I'm saying listen because somebody read it already. And I've only listened to about 5 minutes of it. And it's 30 minutes long, so I'm deciding to bring you guys along. It was originally read by Mr. Creepypasta. I'll have his link to his channel in the description. So give him a check because I think he has like tons of other creepypastas that he read. This one just excuse me, this one just took my interest because, well, it's Pokemon and it's Strangled Red. Well, Strangled Red, that's the name of it, by the way, Pokemon Strangled Red. Yay! But, because, man, I cannot talk, I am tired, I'm sorry. But, Pokemon Red was the first version I got when I was a kid. I played it, I loved it, and I loved playing Charizard. I don't remember if you pick a Pokemon. I think you do. I think you get to pick a Pokemon, but I always chose Charizard just for the fact that it's fire. I'm a fire trainer, blah blah blah, all that jazz. So, like I said, I've only listened to about 10 minutes of it. 10, 5. So, um, yeah, let's get this started, I guess. Alright, here we go. I'm gonna get goosebumps, I know it. Pokemon Strangled Red. Ooh. I'm in a dark bedroom, so this is not gonna be good. Oh,
There are tons of stories out there about hacked Pokemon games, some of them really quite neat, such as the one about the version where you get a ghost as a starter. Some are ridiculous, silly stories about individuals dying after playing a game, or the game talking to them.
Don't know anything about that.
God, don't these writers know less is more when it comes to these stories?
Hmm.
I digress. I grew interested in these hacked games that are apparently in thrift stores on eBay or handed out by homeless people to random passers-by. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting these creepy people. I merely found this particular cartridge in a trash bin when a garbage truck backed into my neighborhood dumpster. I noticed the game and asked the trash man if I could take it. He didn't seem to mind. It was thrown away after all.
Ha.
I, of course, checked with my neighbor to confirm that they actually didn't want it, though they seemed perplexed as if they'd never seen it before in their life. Their son made a grab for it, a little boy who saw the Charizard on the cover, crying out, "Pokemon, I want Mommy!" But his mother told him no, seeing as I found it. And he didn't have a Game Boy anyway. He just liked Pokemon. Thinking nothing more, I simply went home, looking at the cartridge's sticker on the way. Just a plain old red version. The sticker torn slightly across the Charizard's neck. But that was expected with such an old game. I had blue version as a kid, so I was a bit eager to see the, albeit minimal, differences red and blue had. I was rather disappointed by what I saw when the title screen showed up. Pokemon Strangled Red version. Well, damn it. It was hacked.
Joy.
Hacks were neat and all, but they had zero monetary value. The original's quite valuable by now, and I wanted to play Red anyway. Not this crap. Oh well. It was free. Might as well try it.
Right.
The name was odd, however. Strangled Red? That made no sense. Not even in the morbid description of somebody being asphyxiated as people turn blue while choking, not red. Who knows? Maybe there was a pair of those hacks and I just got the red one. The more I thought about this, though, the more interested I became. My initial disappointment turned into curiosity. I wanted to know what the creator had. I wanted to know what the creator had made. I was going to note everything I saw. The first oddity I noticed was the start screen had a Charizard next to the trainer instead of a Charmander. Also, The Pokemon never cycled through like the original version did. It just stayed Charizard, even after 5 minutes of waiting. Shrugging, I hit start, noticing that there was no Charizard cry as I did, like there was supposed to be. I saw there was a continue option. So I figured I'd do what everyone did with used games and see what the previous owner had done.
I know I did with my leaf green.
No. I blinked in surprise.
Wait, no.
No? What do you mean, no?
This is as far as I got, by
The
the
game
way.
wouldn't let me continue, no matter what. Though, on the 4th attempt, I heard the Charizard cry, quiet and barely audible. But there. Shrugging it off, I decided to just hit new game, like I would have done after checking the old file anyway. The screen cut to black for a while. No Professor Oak, no starting theme, just nothing at all.
How long's a while?
Eventually the screen came back, showing a bedroom, 2 beds, 2 TVs, and a computer in the room. My trainer sprite was the usual one, consistent with the old red version. I was curious as to why it didn't ask my name, though it was answered as I opened the pause menu, noticing my trainer was named Steven. No, this isn't my real name. Or some stupid crap like that. This game isn't self-aware or haunted, at least not that I know of. It's just a name chosen already. Curious, I saw that he had the starter amount of money. No badges. He didn't look like Red, though. His hair was longer, almost reaching halfway down his back. Red's usual smile, replaced with a confident smirk. Honestly, I found this sprite much cooler than Red. Next I checked out his Pokemon. A single Charmander, level 5, named Mickey. Nothing was odd about it. Or should I say, her, with the name and all. She had beginning Charmander stats, only new Scratch and Tail Whip, basic stuff. The game seemed relatively normal. Returning to the game, I walked around the room, noticing Steven's long hair was present on the back of my trainer sprite when my back was turned to the camera. I didn't recognize the house, but I descended the stairs to see more. Downstairs was another trainer, who spoke to me the instant I came down. Mike. Ready yet?
Mike.
Steven. Yeah. I assumed Mike was my rival, pre-decided for me. A replacement of Blue, most likely, though I thought back to the bedroom having 2 beds, realizing they weren't just rivals, they were brothers.
Oh, interesting.
They talked back and forth, basic Pokemon dialogue, becoming a Pokemaster, catching them all, stuff like that, before having a little argument over which is better, Charmander or Squirtle.
Ha, Charmander.
Which, of course, led to the introduction battle, like the one versus Blue in the lab. Simple enough. Scratch, tackle, till I won, purely for having the first turn.
Frog on your throat there?
I took note of how much better Steven's sprite looks in combat than Red's. A different pose, his hair looking like it was blowing in the wind. A brief minor upgrade, but still, much nicer.
And pretty, I'm sure.
I left the house after some more banter with my brother, stepping out to the Pallet Town theme. Going to the east, I found this was indeed Pallet Town. The house was simply on the outskirts of the west. I noted there was no mysterious grassy field like in the normal Pallet Town. Wandering about, I decided to check in on Red's home. His mother was inside, and when I talked to her, she commented on how handsome Steven looked, hoping her son would look up to him as a role model for when he became a trainer himself next year, which, of course, led me to realize this game took place a year before the original Pokemon.
Oh, huh.
Red was even
cool.
upstairs playing the SNES in his room, commenting, "I'm gonna be the best too when it's my turn." I was starting to like this hack. It was interesting. A completely new adventure, a different character. Hell, Steven even seemed to have like a history with the people in his town, a reputation, a personality, beyond the silent protagonist.
I like
The
to play
people
that
in
hack
town
myself.
talked to him as a person, making conversation, not just spouting tutorial crap. Even Blue's sister had a new dialogue. They seemed to be in a relationship too, as the dialogue ended with a kiss and a heart over her head.
Aww.
Professor Oak simply wished me well, giving me a Pokedex to aid me in my adventure. He wasn't giving it to me to be reason behind the adventure like every other Pokemon game out there. He gave it to me out of kindness, something to help me on my way, a gift. I was liking this more and more with each second. The game seemed to have an actual story now. I was somebody, not just a cookie-cutter protagonist anyone could be, not just some blank sheet that could be replaced without notice. The story was different, though the actual gameplay remained unchanged. I went north, like I was supposed to. I went from town to town, collected badges, received the praise of the leaders. Steven's fame even seemed to spread, as some NPCs would talk like they knew him. I used Mickey for every battle. And she was growing surprisingly fast. She handled Brock with ease, even pounded Misty with no trouble at all. She wasn't as adversely affected by super effective attacks as others, did more damage than regular Charmanders. She was a veritable powerhouse. Even became a Charizard at the mere level of 25. Not bad at all, I must say.
I thought it was level 30.
Things
Or
started
36.
to get weird, though,
Hmm?
as soon as I reached Lavender Town. I know, Lavender Town is the focus behind every creepypasta story, and the like, but it was the only place that was noticeably different.
How?
There was no Team Rocket invasion, which I found odd, though I did remember that this was a year in the past, so the invasion wouldn't occur until Red's time. I tried to enter Pokemon Tower, aiming to get a Ghastly, but that's when it got odd.
Hmm?
Steven, I have no reason to be here.
What?
Steven wouldn't go into Pokemon Tower, no matter what I did. This was weird. I mean, hell, there are a million places in Kanto that you really have no need to be, like random houses with nothing but children NPCs, for example.
No kidding.
Why was it here that Steven wouldn't enter? With a shrug, I figured that I wouldn't need a Ghastly, seeing as Mickey could handle anything, so I simply went on my way. Lavender Town served no purpose other than a passageway with a Pokemon Center. The game progressed normally from there. The remaining gyms fell, and eventually I made my way to the Elite Four and defeated them. As with Blue, my brother, Mike, was there before me, initiating the championship battle, which Mickey swept with ease. The aftermath of the battle was quite pleasant. None of the tension that was present between Red and Blue, the end of their match. The brothers congratulated each other on their progress and shook hands before the screen went white. No Hall of Fame, nor any credits. When the screen came back, it was at the house again.
This is more pleasant than scary. I'm
The
enjoying
two
it too.
brothers sitting at the computer, conversing with each other. Steven, I don't want to. Mike, come on. I just gotta borrow her for a second, just to finish the Pokedex. The entry won't register unless she recognizes me as a master for just a second. Steven, but she's my Mickey. Mike, I promise I'll give her back. Come on. Please? Yes? No. I was a bit perplexed, so I hit no cautiously. Mike, come on. Please? No. Mike, come on. Please?
Sounds like a douche.
I realized that this would simply continue to loop until I hit yes. So I did, just to see what would happen. Mike, all right, this will just take a second. Then we'll both be Pokemon Masters. Steven.
He doesn't sound too happy, does he?
The screen changed to the animation shown when two people trade Pokemon, which I found a bit weird seeing as I was solo, but whatever. This was apparently supposed to happen. Mickey went first. I watched lazily as she began to travel down the trading tube. That made me jump.
What the fuck?
A sudden noise resonating in my silent bedroom, loud due to the volume being way up. Looking at the screen, I noticed the game had seemed to freeze.
Oh joy.
Mickey still in mid-trade,
Okay, that caught me off
but
guard.
the game wasn't doing anything.
Huh?
With a sigh, I turned the game off, wondering when my last save was. When the game turned back on, I stared for a moment at the title screen. There was no Charizard next to the trainer. Upon pressing start, I saw the new game option was absent, leaving only continue. This was strange, to say the least, so I selected it. The game started without even showing my stats as usual, and my jaw dropped at what I was greeted with. 1 year later.
Red's time.
The Lavender Town theme came up first, playing its normal way, the screen slowly fading in from blackness. Steven was in the Pokemon Tower, which made the music even stranger, seeing as the town had its own theme. He was standing in front of a tombstone, not doing anything. Wondering what was going on, I pressed A. Steven. Confused, I tried walking, realizing I was indeed in control at the moment. I brought up the pause menu and checked my party. Mickey was gone. Not just Mickey, all Pokemon. He had nothing.
Oh man.
The Pokedex was absent from the menu. His bag was empty. Honestly concerned now, I checked his trainer card. He had no money. He had no badges. His playtime was 8,795 hours, which was
Whoa.
impossible as I had only 30 logged in before.
Okay,
This
that's
wasn't
creepy.
the strangest part. His
Oh, dear.
picture. The picture of the handsome, confident young trainer was different. His eyes were blank. His face turned slightly down. That smirk was gone, replaced by a lack of any expression at all. That long hair of his, before in a perfect perm, was now messy and unkempt. I couldn't look at him anymore. Closing the menu, I went to move out of the tower, but with every step I took away from the tombstone, the screen flickered like it did when a Pokemon was poisoned. Gulping, I brought up the trainer card again. His picture was getting worse. Every step I took, he hung his head more and more. His shoulders slumped, he bent over. By the time I had exited the tower, he was on his knees. Hands to his face, hair draped across him. I had guessed already what was going on, but this clinched it. I began to put some things together in my mind. I had always wondered why there was no champion in the original games besides your rival. Why is it you, the protagonist, had to beat your rival when he just waltzed in, no previous champion, to challenge? Then it struck me. The answer was right here. The previous champion gave up.
Oh.
His precious Mickey was apparently dead. And with her, so died part of him.
Oh my.
His Pokedex,
That's sad.
the other Pokemon, his badges, his fame, all of it. He threw it away.
Just because
that
Mickey
year-
died?
The year that I missed. The year where all those hours came from. I even did the math. I mean, there's 8,765 hours in a year.
That was taking a while.
Add that to my 30 from before, and it matched up.
Okay, now that's creepy.
Even so, the game kept going. This should have been an ending, I thought. I mean, what else is there to do? I have no Pokedex, no Pokemon, no nothing. What was I supposed to be doing?
I'm getting chills now.
I talked to everyone in town, but they all said similar things. Are you okay? Still mourning, I say. Everything will be all right. Please, is there anything we can do? Stephen never replied to them, and they all simply said the same thing over and over. I couldn't put the game down now. This was all so strange. Curious, I headed off into the tall grass and eventually got into a battle with Rattata. No Pokemon was sent out, just Stephen's sprite. I was wondering how I'd battle. Wild Rattata left you be. The battle
What?
ended without anything happening. This was certainly interesting,
No kidding.
and it happened with every Pokemon I encountered. Wild Pidgey ignored you. Wild Ponyta wandered off. The music never changed either, no matter where I went. Lavender Town came from the speakers, following me. Sometimes slowed down slightly, sometimes not. I searched everywhere, every town, talked to everybody, wondering just what the hell I needed to do. My frustration was mixing with the depressing atmosphere of all this, making the experience altogether unnerving and uncomfortable. But I couldn't tear myself away. I was starting to get a bit angry, though. Nobody telling me anything besides giving me their condolences and trying to give me items like lemonade or coffee. Each met with Stephen. No. I slapped myself for idiocy, suddenly realizing how the likely answer was right in front of me. Pallet Town, of course. When I went there, though, which took a long time, having to walk, no Pokemon to fly with, no bicycle to ride, and Stephen only seeming to move half the regular movement speed.
No, that would.
It wasn't much different.
That would. I don't know. Ignore me a little. Ignore.
I first
Annoy.
tried talking to Professor Oak. These things happen. You were just unlucky.
Unlucky? That's
Next
all you
tried
can say?
Sue's sister. Please, don't leave home again. Red's mother wouldn't even talk to me at all. With nowhere else to go, I walked to the west, finding the house from the beginning, which I had never entered since leaving Pallet Town. Inside was Mike, but talking to him was just useless. Mike, I'm so sorry. I pondered for a moment if this was really the ending. Stephen doomed to do nothing but roam Kanto in misery, haunted by the memories, forced to listen to everyone's concerns about him. As a last-ditch effort to do anything, I went to the bedroom and walked over the bed. Stephen, I'm going to sleep. The screen faded to black for a moment, but then slowly faded back in. The world having a black tint to it. The Mike sprite, laying in the other bed. I assumed this meant that it was night. Stephen, I'm going to do it.
Do what?
Do what? Again, I have no idea. Tried inspecting everything in the room, and nothing happened.
Of course, my bedroom light had to be
As soon
off.
as I left the house, another dialogue box. Stephen, it can bring her back.
Huh?
It can do anything.
It.
What the hell was it? Something that could do anything. I couldn't for the life of me figure it out. Wandering about, I tried to leave Pallet Town the usual way. Stephen, not that way. He wouldn't go any further. I tried the homes. Stephen, screw them.
Oh.
I quirked my eyebrows at that, forgetting for a moment that this was not a real Pokemon game. The vulgarity just took me off guard. I continued to look around, but there was nowhere I could go until I accidentally stepped on the ocean, and Stephen walked right in, until the upper half of his sprite visible, like the swimmers you encounter in the Cerulean Gym. I didn't know he could swim. Stephen, the missing one.
The missing one?
I paused for a moment. No, he couldn't possibly mean that.
What? What's that?
I hadn't tried the missing no trick on this hack yet,
Missing no.
but it just fit too well that had to be what he meant. I surfed all the way towards Cinnabar. I began to feel something was off, more so than this already was.
Yeah, no kidding. Other than the entire game? Well, entire half.
Silence. The lavender theme had stopped. There was no noise at all. nor were there any Pokemon. I just kept going, finding Cinnabar and surfing up and down the east coast. Lo and behold, Wild Missing No appeared.
Oh.
Stephen.
Oh.
Mine. Wild Missing No was caught.
What?
What the hell? Stephen didn't do anything. He just commanded that atrocity of broken data to join him. No. Become his possession. And it did. I was getting more and more disturbed by all this. Checking the start menu, I saw Missing No was not in my party, but instead an item, making things even stranger. I checked the trainer card as well. Stephen has his back to me, his long hair draped behind him, his hands in his pockets. Nothing else. Remembering what he said at the start of this night, I realized what I had to do.
I'm going to do
I surfed to
it.
land and made my way northeast
But
to
what is he going to do?
where else?
Lavender
Town. Along the way,
Is
I
he
noticed all the trainers,
going to
oddly
Mickey?
still out at this hour, wouldn't look at Stephen. All of them turning when he passed, and even those that were normally static. I tried talking to one of the officers in the guardhouse. Just go. They all said the same thing, though one sent chills down my spine. Sometimes, dead is best.
Ooh.
My hands were sweating at
Okay,
this point.
that sent chills on my spine.
Stephen was about to try the impossible, something some would see as a crime against nature, which many of these people shared that opinion. I steeled myself.
Okay, that music
It's
scared
just a
me.
game, and I was going to complete it. It took an eternity to reach Pokemon Tower, but I got there eventually. Taking a deep breath and heading towards the tombstone, I remembered which one. The image of Stephen sitting before it was burned into my mind after all. First, I tried inspecting it. Stephen. Mickey.
I feel sorry for him.
Nothing happened.
I really do.
With a gulp, I opened the menu and selected Missing No from the bag. Oak. Stephen, don't use it! I was reminded when Professor Oak would magically tell you that you couldn't use a key item somewhere, like when using the bicycle in a building, though the message this time was different. Even worse, Stephen responded to it.
What?
Stephen, in a world that cheated me, why should I play fair?
Oh, whoa, God.
Stephen used it.
Huh?
Obtained.
Correct.
Listen.
Huh?
What in God's name did I obtain?
I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. Because the game took away my control. Without my input, Stephen began to leave the tower on his own,
Oh,
walking
jeez.
single step by single step. The Lavender Town started again. As he left the town and began his excruciatingly slow journey against my will, every time he crossed one of the borders where the music would change, it got progressively slower, more and more disturbing. By the time he reached Cerulean City, it was a demonic rumbling. I was just staring, watching him, trying to guess where he was going, but it was getting more and more obvious. He was heading to Pallet Town.
Town.
The music had all but stopped when he got there, playing single note by single note.
I would have shut
He
it
went
off right
exactly where I had guessed. Right to his own house, inside and up the stairs. At this point, there was no music. Stephen moved step by step, stopping at his brother's bed, turning to face him. At first, I thought the game froze. He didn't do anything, just simply stood there. I couldn't move him. I did, however, find out I could use the pause menu. I was terrified to look, but I couldn't stop myself. I selected the trainer card. There was a low growl noise, like a distorted Pokemon cry. Stephen was looking at me again, directly at the screen. He was hunched over, his bangs obscuring his face. His hair was wild and feathered out. Between his bangs, there wasn't even a face at all, just black. Two red eyes looking straight forward, a white grin contrasting with the darkness. That wasn't all. His name was now Nefes? I couldn't look away. My eyes glued to his, not breaking contact for some time. My vision was getting blurry until I couldn't see very well. My face grew wet. I was crying. Like a baby. There was nothing I could do to hold back the tears. I was with this boy from the start. I built him up to greatness, and was then forced to watch his decline after a tragic accident, and now he was this thing, this abomination. I watched him go insane. Halting my tears, wiping my eyes, I closed out of the trainer card and tried to save the game, wanting to just quit. The game informed me that this was impossible. Nothing can be saved now. The pause menu wouldn't close no matter what I did. So with no other option, I checked the bag. Nothing. I checked Pokemon. And there was one. A single sprite met me. It had 0 HP, its status, dead. Its name. I'm missing. I selected it, and I was greeted with 4 options. Status. It's her. Switch. Never. Close. No. Strangled.
What?
My fingers shaking. I selected Strangled, and the menu closed, showing Stephen in the room again. Nefes? Goodbye. The game shut itself off. I was more dumbfounded than frightened. In a bit of shock, I turned it back on, and the title screen showed the Manic 7. And a horrible glitched Charizard. I pressed start. And continue. All I saw was a zoomed out view of Pallet Town showing Stephen's house to the west. Tall grass surrounding it, those unmovable stones blocking it from the rest of the town. The image was completely static. No music. No movement. Before fading to white, going back to the title screen. It was as it had been when I first popped it in. A trainer and a Charizard. I attempted to hit continue. No.
Okay. Well, that. Huh. Talk about deceiving. The beginning was really, pleasant. Even the Lavender Town part didn't really get me. But the second half, holy crap, I'm shaking. Phew. Okay. And of course, I'm in a dark bedroom. That is not good. Um, well, that was. Let's listen. Pokemon Strangled Red. A creepy, a poke pasta that I came across while just surfing the web. Um, I guess I would give it a freaking 5 out of 5. It was really well written. And at the beginning, where he was basically talking about creepy pastas, like the Chaos Black reference and some other things that I didn't get, because I don't really read poke pastas that much, or any creepy pasta at all, really. But um, I it was really good. Really, really good. Really well written. But I probably will never look at my Pokemon Red the same again. Yay. Um. All right. Well, I guess. Oh, I really don't have anything else to say other than, oh, well, I guess if y'all liked what I did here, leave a comment and tell me whether you actually want me to do something called whatever I just said. Let's listen, and I'll look up some other creepy pastas. Maybe another poke pasta, maybe some others, and I'll try and not look at them completely. Just kind of, you know, briefly glance at it so I know what I'm going to be getting myself into. But I'm going to try and keep it blind, like I did with this. Of course, the only reason I stopped before was because I had to do something, so I couldn't keep listening. So, if you want me to do something like this again, please leave a comment and let me know. Okay, I am still shaken. This was Flaretale, and I was just listening to Mr. Creepypasta read Pokemon Strangled Red version. Thank you all for listening. Later.